Hi, everybody. Greetings to you. Welcome to Get the Pen. Thank you for being here. My name is Janine, folks, your hostess with the mostest, coming to you with a Get the Pen moment. First, I want to give a shout out. And this week, I want to shout out my grandmother, Mrs. Johnny May, folks. I want to shout her out for, after the passing of her husband, continuing the family business, Rollercade, Roller Rink Incorporated in Southwest Detroit at 2130 South Schaefer. 1955 is when those doors opened, and she and my grandfather, which was her husband, Leroy, folks, ran the business until his passing in 1972. I was 2 years old at that time, and she, along with her 8 children, kept the business going, and it is going to this day. So thank you, Grandma. Thank you for your legacy. Thank you not only for bringing us roller skating in the Tri-City area, Southwest Detroit, River Rouge, and E-Course, not only for that, but also for being an entrepreneur and for allowing me to watch you work, to watch your creativity, your marketing strategies, your business acumen. I was picking it up the whole 19 years that I had to be with you while you were here on this earth through my first 19 years. Thank you for coming to my high school graduation, and just thank you for being you and who you were, who you are. And I try to continue to embody pieces of your spirit, me and your other children and grandchildren and great grandchildren. We still carry you with us. So in essence, you still exist because you exist through us. Your blood runs through our veins, and today I want to honor you and thank you. Now for our Get to Pen moment. Today I'm going to take a reading from Rink Ready. Rink Ready, your roller skating journey journal. And I want to talk about vulnerability. Vulnerability. I think a lot of us struggle with that, and we all have vulnerabilities. And when the ego gets in the way, vulnerability can keep you from growing. It can keep you from achieving things because so many of us are afraid of being vulnerable. We don't want to look stupid. We don't want to mess up. We don't want to get in over our heads. I mean, I'm not saying be crazy, be reckless, or willy-nilly, but sometimes you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable and take a risk. You could mess up, it could flop, you could crash and burn. I don't know. Sometimes we just have to do it anyway. I've done it many times, and I'm not saying go out here and be reckless. We do want to use some wisdom, but sometimes we have to be vulnerable. And I've talked about this before when I talked about when I started yoga. That was a vulnerable moment for me because I did not know how to do yoga, and I accidentally went into a more advanced class on my first day. But I hung in there and I kept up, and I was flopping around. I had like no strength, no stamina. I'm sweating and struggling, but I kept going. I hung in there and I made it through the whole class. And the rest of the class, who were more experienced, didn't know that this was my first class. So I was proud of myself. I allowed myself to be vulnerable, allowed myself to look crazy. And in that moment, I didn't care what anybody thought of me. I did not care if I looked stupid. I didn't necessarily have the right gear. I didn't have any yoga outfits because yoga wasn't my thing. But I wanted to try it. I wanted to learn it. I wanted that experience. And so I went in there like the rookie, the newbie that I was, and not even concerned about being accepted. I was just being me, and I was just trying to learn. And that is a level of humility that we all need so that we can be teachable. Teachable without being embarrassed when we mess up. When you can't do a posture, or when you're stumbling and looking crazy, to not give a rip and do it anyway and feel like you still belong. Like, I might not be real good at this, but I'm here, and I know that if I keep showing up, I'm going to get better and better and better. And even like these videos, I don't have a studio. I don't even have camera equipment. I have nothing, but I'm just going to do it. I'm going to be vulnerable. And knowing that people may criticize me, or they may say, why is she doing that? Or she doesn't even have a professional camera or sound equipment or a background or whatever I don't have. Guess what? I don't care. And I'm doing it anyway. And whoever has something to say that is negative or critical, I don't care about that either. I am doing my thing. I am making myself vulnerable, because when you put yourself out there, you are making yourself vulnerable. You're opening yourself up to being criticized, laughed at, talked about, and scrutinized, all of that. You put yourself sort of in a fishbowl where people are watching you, and you have to get to the point where watch me, watch me. And even when they might start out watching you mess up and watch you stumble around and fumble around trying to figure it out, looking crazy, if they keep watching, they're going to watch you soar. So you got to start somewhere. And when we start at that beginning, we're vulnerable. Okay? And it is okay. And we have to overcome that fear of being vulnerable, the fear of looking crazy. Sometimes you just got to look crazy, and you got to laugh about it, and you got to smile about it, and you got to be okay with the critics and the comments. Because guess what? They're not paying your bills. What are these people doing for you? Nothing. So you got to keep doing what you know you're supposed to do, and you got to get started. You got to make your move, and you've got to learn. Like I tell people, it's not going to just drop on you one day. You're not just going to wake up one day being an expert at something. You got to put the work in consistently. You got to put the work in. You got to keep going and keep doing it, even when you look stupid, even when you look crazy, even when you don't really know what's going on, but you're trying to figure it out. And you have to keep going, and you have to be okay with being vulnerable. So, from Rink Ready, and like I said before, when I read from Rink Ready, you don't have to be into roller skating to understand these concepts. But if you are, that's great, because some of these principles apply across the board, okay? Not just for roller skating, but these are just some things from roller skating that I pointed out in this book, Vulnerability, and it is on page 95 in the black edition and the pink edition. It is in both. Vulnerability. So I'm just going to read, okay? When you are a new roller skater or getting reacclimated to roller skating, and this is with anything, okay? Any activity that you're not real familiar with or you haven't done it in a while. There is a level of vulnerability there, okay? You're learning a new skill, and they call that neuroplasticity. That's where we're reprogramming our brains. You're learning a new skill, which is exciting, right? But at the same time, you want to feel like you know what you're doing. It's comfortable when you know what you're doing, when you know how to navigate. And when you don't, there is some insecurity there, and that's okay. Your body is figuring things out, because it's like, whoa, what is this? I've never used this muscle, or haven't used it in a long time, or I haven't stretched this way in I don't know when, if ever. You are creating new muscle memory. Okay, as your body is figuring it out, your body is learning, and so is your brain, and is doing some rewiring. This requires practice and repetition. Awkwardness is initially part of the process as you are learning, and over time it will fade, and confidence and comfort will increase. As a roller skater, all roller skaters, professional, expert, been skating for years, been skating for weeks, all are vulnerable to falling, okay? It comes with the territory. You can fall. Something can happen, and you can fall. So when people say, they want to skate, but they don't want to fall, nobody enjoys falling, but it comes with the territory, and you just have to know how to fall properly, fall safely, fall well. Even the most advanced skaters take a spill now and then. No roller skater is exempt from falling. And as you progress, the number of falls should decline, but falling will always be a part of roller skating. Overcome the fear of embarrassment by knowing that falling is normal in roller skating. It is okay to fall, just fall properly. Don't use your arms to break the fall because you might injure your wrists, elbows, or arms. If you are falling, still falling a lot, you might want to put on some safety gear like wrist guards, elbow, and knee pads. That might be helpful to prevent serious injury because nobody wants to get hurt, right? I mean, I don't mind being embarrassed or looking stupid, but I do not want to injure myself, okay? I don't want you to injure yourself either. The humility that it takes to put yourself out there on the roller skating floor is top tier. And not, like I said, it's not just with roller skating. Anything new that you set out to do, the amount of humility that it takes to put yourself out there and be vulnerable is top tier, and I salute you. That in itself is commendable. Allowing yourself to be vulnerable, not yet looking like the expert that you're going to become, falling in front of people takes a lot of courage. The initial anxiety that comes with learning and developing as a roller skater wanes as you advance. The discipline of roller skating teaches you to overcome your fears and overcome failures because you have to keep trying repeatedly. The persistence you develop as a roller skater translates over into other areas of your life, or it should. Developing as a roller skater helps you discover more about who you are. It amplifies your personality. Roller skating helps you face yourself and overcome obstacles. Roller skating is a risky business. You face and overcome fears. You take precautions. Roller skating moves make you more courageous, and that courage will show up in other areas of your life. The fear of falling reduces because you simply learn to fall properly. Falling comes with the game, so we just fall well. Now, how do you overcome your feelings of vulnerability when you roller skate or when you do anything new? What precautions do you take? How do you feel when you fall in public? Do you ever have feelings of embarrassment? How do you overcome that? How has roller skating made you more courageous? How have you become more comfortable with falling? That's your journal prompts, okay? You can take a moment to write down how you feel about being vulnerable and how you overcome that vulnerability and the humility that it takes. When is a time that you set out to do something new that you had never done before or had not done in a long time, and you did not feel like you were good at it, but you said, I'm going to give it a shot and do it anyway? How did you feel? What held you back? How did you overcome it? Or maybe you're still struggling with the idea, you're wrestling with, oh, I want to do this, I want to do it, but I don't know if I'm equipped, I don't know if I can. What are you doing? What steps are you taking to overcome your fears of being vulnerable as a beginner, as an inexperienced person? Think about those things, ponder them, write them down. Think about it because you're going to need that courage. It is top tier because that's how you're going to excel. How do you overcome feelings of embarrassment? I mean, there are different coping mechanisms that many of us have. Some people laugh it off. Some people just ignore it. Some people get angry, but don't get mad. Don't get mad. Just get up and keep going. Just, hey, you can laugh it off, I guess, or just keep going and say, you know what? Watch me improve. Watch me get better. Watch me get stronger. And, thinking back to yoga class when I, put myself out there in the middle of a class, not knowing how to do the moves or not even being strong enough to hold myself up in certain positions. As I went every week, I got stronger every week. And then the little pride came in where I could do the downward facing dog with ease and then go up into a warrior one flawlessly, when before, oh my goodness, I would stumble and fall and struggle to get up off the ground, where now I can do it with a little more ease. And it gives you such a sense of accomplishment, and that is so fulfilling because you feel your body getting stronger, you feel yourself progressing, and you see that your labor is not in vain, that you're actually healing, you're actually strengthening, you're actually getting better. Now that first day I could have been embarrassed and say, you know what, I'm not coming back. I can't do this. But when I saw other people doing it, I said, no, they can, I'm doing this. I'm going to keep coming. I'm going to get stronger and I'm going to do this. And I love to be surrounded by encouraging people who understand what it's like to be a beginner. They know how it feels when your muscles are trembling, literally trembling, because they're like, what in the world are you doing right now? And then they say, that trembling in your muscles is just your muscles getting stronger. So now every time I feel myself trembling, I don't say, oh no, I'm weak, let me quit. I say, no, that trembling is my strength growing. Let me keep going, because the more I do it and the more I tremble, the stronger I'm getting. Every time there's a tremble, I'm here for it, because I'm trembling and this is hard right now, but that just means I'm getting stronger. So when you're trembling and when you're shaky and you don't know how you're going to hold it up and hold it together, that is your strength building, and let that inspire you to keep going. Let that be a reminder that you are getting stronger and that you are not weak, and that is not a sign to stop necessarily. Now, I'm not saying hurt yourself, okay? Use your wisdom, but when you're trembling, just know sometimes, and now know the difference between an injury and getting strength. Now, don't hurt yourself. Please don't do that. But that trembling can be a sign of growth and strength, and that's what we want to do. We want to grow. We want to get stronger. We want to become better at what it is we're trying to do, and that will only happen through persistence and us continuing to show up for ourselves. And like I said, we do have to be wise. When you're hurting, if you have injured yourself, you have to rest and heal, because you don't want to further injury by forcing something that is injured to do something, and you may worsen the situation. So please be careful and be aware of your body, so you know when this is a normal some pain that is the pain that causes gain, not the type of pain that is a sign of injury. So know the difference, know your body, know when you need to stop, because sometimes you might need to stop and not push yourself. You have to know the difference, and that is the wisdom and awareness that comes with being in tune with yourself, being connected to yourself, because we don't want to hurt ourselves. That's not why we're here. And even with the new skaters, I don't want anyone to get hurt skating. I don't want you to get hurt trying something new, or I don't want you to be reckless and hazardous. I want you to be well. I want you to get stronger. So when we do things, we have to be smart about it, and we have to do it the right way. Do it properly so that it is effective. Because you could do something long and thinking you're being productive, thinking you're growing, when you're really just hurting yourself. And you don't want to do that, because that is counterproductive. When you're doing it properly, you got to know you're strengthening yourself. That's why so many of us, get a trainer, physical trainer, coach, instructor, because they can show you the proper ways of doing things. Because sometimes, some things we can teach ourselves, but some things are better when we learn from the people who know what they're doing, so that they can give us proper guidance, and that we're not causing a problem. Because we're not here for that. We're here to get better. We're here to get stronger and do better, do more. And even as we age, and even like myself, I am fighting the clock. I'm fighting that aging process. And not that I'm anti-aging. I don't mind getting older. I'm happy and honored to be able to get older and to age gracefully. But I also know that even though I am aging and getting older, I can still get better. I can still get stronger. That is not over for me. Just because I'm not in my 30s or 40s anymore, that doesn't mean that I cannot work on improving myself and getting even better for my 50s, 60s, 70s, and even 80s. Maybe by 90, I might chill out. But until then, I'm just going to keep going until I just can't go anymore. I have to. While I'm here and while I can, I will. And I want you to do that as well. Push yourself, don't hurt yourself, but get yourself stronger, get in shape. We want to live well, we want to live long, we want to be effective, we want to fulfill our purpose, we want to help humanity, we want to be a blessing to the other humans among us, the people who were sent into our lives. We want to be light for them. Okay, so I am wrapping it up. Thank you for this time that you've spent with me. I appreciate you. I don't know what I'm gonna pick next week, but I hope you show up again. I hope you come back. We're gonna try to keep it interesting and keep it helpful. And I hope that something I say will speak to you, that will affirm something that you already know. Most of the stuff you already know it. Sometimes just hearing it is a reinforcement and a reminder to remind you, oh yeah, I got to do that. Let me do that. Thank you. Let me keep going. Let me do that. So it's okay to be vulnerable and pick up a copy. You can go to getthepen.net or go to amazon.com to find out how to get Rink Ready or one of my other books. I'm up to 15 now, and each one of these I put together because I want to help. I want to help you, and I hope that I can say something that's going to inspire you and that's going to make your quality of life better and make you love more, love yourself more, love other people more, and be who you were called to be. Thank you so much. Get the pen, Janine, folks. I will see you next week.